Do you have Billy Bragg's Workers' Playground? The one that has the capitalism is killing music, pay no more than $15.99 sticker on it before it mysteriously disappeared and he started charging $30 like everyone else?
Yeah, left into the back.
Thanks.
What is it with rock stars thinking this entire planet is some sort of all-you-can-eat, booty-groping, sexual smorgasbord? Let me tell you my story. Back in 1987, I was a huge Beastie Boys fan. I even had a scrapbook with articles about them, their producer Rick Rubin, and their DJ Hurricane. When my mother took a photo of me, I even struck a Beastie pose. I even got caught up in that whole Volkswagen badge fashion, which Beastie Boy Mike D started. Me and my friend Jeremy Weinstein crowbarred this one off a gutted Volkswagen in his street, and I wore it around my neck. A la the Beasties Mike D, MCA and Ad Rock, me and Jeremy Weinstein and another friend George Weinberg gave ourselves Beastie-style tags. George Weinberg was 3Dub, as in 3 Ws, as in Women Want Weinberg. Jeremy Weinstein was Fido, preempting Lil Bow Wow by about 10 years, and I was Advert Def V-Dub Megablast, which was a hybrid of every word I'd ever read on the back of a rap album cover. Now, 3Dub, myself Advert Def V-Dub Megablast, and a few other kids put a Beastie-style crew together to perform live at school concerts. But being a rapper at Yeshiva College wasn't always easy. I used to wear this back patch featuring the Beastie Boys' touring buddies Public Enemy. Now, it's no big deal, but this kid in my class, Ronen Koniarski, had read in Time magazine that one of the guys in Public Enemy, Professor Griff, had made all these anti-Jewish remarks. So he started hassling me about wearing the back patch. And he even blew up the Time magazine article really big and hung it on the school notice board to try to get everyone to turn against me. You know, I try to tell the kids today just how loathed rap music was back then, and about how before Faith No More, people into metal and people into rap were like Serbia and Croatia. But they just stare at me blankly and say, yeah, sure, Gramps. They don't know what it was like to have to fight for your right to party. I remember I was once at this Scout Jamboree and these AC/DC bogans started pushing me around when they found out I was into the Beastie Boys. Another time I was wearing a Def Jam baseball cap on the tram. Def Jam was the Beasties' record label. And this metalhead pulled it off, ripped it and threw it on the floor. Apparently the metal community hated the Beastie Boys because they stole the guitarist from Slayer for their No Sleep Till Brooklyn track or something like that, which I could never quite understand. Anyway, the point I'm getting at is I'd put in the hard yards for the Beastie Boys. And how do they reward a loyal and dedicated fan? I'll tell you how. By conspiring to steal my girlfriend during their 1992 Check Your Head Australian tour. This is the lounge in Swanson Street, Melbourne. Incidentally, the guy who's the managing director is a Scientologist, but that's another story. I was standing right here with my girlfriend at the time when I spotted across the room DJ Hurricane, the Beastie Boys' very own waxing and scratching DJ, sipping on a drink. If I recall correctly, atop his head sat a Kangol beret. Around his neck, a fat gold rope. Summoning all my courage, we approached him. And instantly he started to check out my girlfriend. He told her she was beautiful and asked her what country she was born in. He said she was the most beautiful girl he'd met on the tour. It was pretty insulting. If he tried to pick her up behind my back, that's one thing. But in his eyes, I obviously posed such little threat to his hip-hop manhood, he didn't mind having a crack at her right in front of my face. I would have put a cap in his ass right there. Except he offered us free tickets to the following night's concert and backstage passes to meet the Beasties. So I said, cool. The next night, the Beastie Boys went off, although they didn't play any of the cool offensive stuff from their first album because they'd become Tibetan monks or some shit by this stage. Then, after the show, me and my girlfriend were taken backstage. DJ Hurricane led me into the Beastie Boys dressing room. There they were, Ad Rock, MCA and Mike D. My girlfriend wasn't allowed in, with Hurricane offering some lame-ass excuse about the Beasties not wanting to be overcrowded. As he pushed me forward, I noticed him exchanging some knowing looks and signals with the Beasties, as if to say, can you get this guy off my hands whilst I bust a move on his girlfriend in the other room? I would have put a second cap in his ass, except I was meeting the Beastie Boys. I decided to break the ice. I said,
great comfort.
Mike D said,
yeah.
Like I was the most annoying person in the world. I said,
I've liked you guys forever.
Mike D said,
yeah.
I said,
your latest album was really cool.
Then he looked at me and said,
yeah, man. We travel the world and we hear this shit everywhere, so why don't you tell us a bit about you? What's in you?
What's in me? I didn't quite know what he was getting at. Well...
I go to uni.
No, man, what are you about? What's in you?
I like music. That's what I spend all my money on.
No, man, I mean, what do you feel? What's in you?
I had no idea what he was going on about, although it was becoming pretty apparent that I didn't know what was in me. Was this what's in you some new hip-hop lingo that had yet to trickle down to Melbourne? I thought I'd have a final stab. I knew Ad Rock and MCA were Jewish, and Mike D was half Jewish, so I said,
I'm Jewish, like you guys.
Ad Rock turned to look at me.
I'm not Jewish.
Then DJ Hurricane and my girlfriend came back into the room. She looked a little weird. Everyone said goodbye to each other, and we left. As we walked back to the car, I asked my girlfriend what had happened.
What happened?
Nothing.
Hey, you okay?
Yeah, everything's fine.
So nothing happened?
No, John, nothing happened, okay?
Okay.
But it was clear to all and sundry. Despite my years of devotion, despite buying all their singles, all their albums, most of their 12 inches and a picture disc, DJ Hurricane had tried to bust a move on my girlfriend. My girlfriend. Big mistake. Huge mistake. Because in a cosmic display of karmic justice, dealt with wrath and fury, in 1998, DJ Hurricane was replaced with a new DJ, Mixmaster Mike.
We're just 3 MCs and 1 DJ, and we be getting down with no delay. So Mixmaster Mike, what you got to say?
Now you might think, with Hurricane out of the picture, everything's fine with me. But I'm a once-bitten, twice-shy type of guy. And if you think I'm going to risk this type of shit going down again, you got rocks in your head. Mixmaster Mike, are you there?
What's up, everybody in Australia?
How are the Beastie Boys? What are you guys up to?
We're all separately working on things right now, but right now it's like we're doing our thing, and hopefully something's gonna come out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. Now, next time you see the Beastie Boys, can you ask them what's in you?
What was that again? No. Say that again.
Don't worry. Now listen, I need you to take this oath, and I'd like to stress that it's legally binding.
Okay. Ready? Okay, I, Mixmaster Mike, solemnly swear that I will not bust a move, get busy with, or give up the booty to any female companion of John Safran.
It's actually Safran, but thanks for taking the oath anyway. I feel a lot more secure now, Mixmaster Mike.
Okay, you got a TV show that you take that when rock stars come to your show, they have to take an oath to not pick up on your girlfriend. Is that right?
No, not rock stars, just Beastie Boy DJs.
So what?
Yep, don't worry about it. Just if you see me with a girl, back off, man. I've been burnt before.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
All right, take it easy.
Did you know, shortly after the Beastie Boys concert, John's girlfriend dumped him, citing emotional immaturity?
He knows the inner secrets of the music industry, but for fear of retribution, he must hide his identity. He is the music mole. It must be pretty difficult to get your band on the front cover of a music magazine, Mr. Mole.
Well, it's funny you should mention that, John, because a couple of years ago, people from the Sanity Music Group put out a magazine called Sane Unlimited, and not the free one that you get in Sanity music stores, but a legit one you had to pay for in newsagents.
No, I remember it. It was a bit like Rolling Stone or Juice magazine.
But what you probably don't remember was the rate card that they sent out to potential advertisers.
The rate card?
Well, every magazine has a rate card saying the price of a quarter-page ad is this much or a full-page ad is this much.
So what was so unusual about the Sane Unlimited rate card?
Well, unlike Juice or Rolling Stone, Sane Unlimited's rate card had the price that it would cost a record label to put one of their bands on the front cover with a double-page story inside.
What, and they didn't even try to hide the fact that you could buy the cover story?
No, they were quite open about it.
Well, how much was it, by the way?
$12,000.
Wow, $12,000 just for little old Sane Unlimited magazine. Imagine how much it would have cost Princess Di to get all those Women's Weekly front covers.
Fortune, John.
Thank you, Mr. Mole.
I met her in a club down in Old Soho, where you drink champagne and it tastes just like Coca-Cola.
In 1970, when the Kinks mentioned Coca-Cola on the album version of Lola, I'm willing to bet it's because they needed something that rhymed with Lola rather than them making any moolah from the good people at Coke. However, to ensure airplay on commercial-free BBC radio, when released as a single, like some biblical miracle, the Coca-Cola had been transformed into generic cherry cola.
I met her in the club down in Old Soho, where you drink champagne and it tastes just like cherry cola.
This wasn't the first product reference to be weeded out by the Brits. 2 years earlier, Pink Floyd had released a single, It Would Be So Nice, with the line, "Pass the butter, please. Have you ever read the Evening Standard?" Because the Evening Standard was a real newspaper, to appease demands from radio programmers, the song was re-recorded with the made-up Daily Standard in its place. 30 years later, the British were still down on product placement. This video for Ronan Keating's When You Say Nothing at All was attacked by the TV watchdog, the Independent Television Commission, for crossing the line in promoting the film Notting Hill. Captions like, "This film is for you" and "Film of the Year" were seen as going beyond the usual movie song tie-in and into the realm of hard sell commercial. And to be fair to the Independent Television Commission, the clip did feature a man running around trying to sell copies of the video. Here in Australia, when the seemingly innocent US boy band New Kids on the Block tried to sneak past a big Adidas logo on a t-shirt, ABC's rage struck back like a Nordic god, hammer in hand, and pixelated it. But that was a while back. More recently, I've noticed a new wave of product placements in what I like to call vertical integration video. Here's one I caught on Rage. Innocent little Mandy Moore singing Candy, pouncing about her bedroom like it's all just natural and nothing shonky is going on whatsoever. But what's that she's wearing? She wouldn't be wearing, nay showcasing a Walkman, would she? Specifically a Sony Walkman, specifically a model from the Psych range of Sony Walkmans, featuring blue and purple opaque design with functional bumper guard and attachment ring, perfect for hanging from belt or backpack, which Sony released in 1999 to target the female Generation Y demographic, to wit, girls exactly the age of Mandy Moore. And what, pray tell, record label is Mandy, sweet as candy, signed to? My lordy lord, if it isn't Sony Records. But Johnny boy, it's a bum rap. What if it's a coinky-dink? After all, teenage girls do wear Sony Walkmans. Maybe the director was into social realism, a la Ken Loach, and insisted on capturing a slice of Mandy Moore's actual life, which involves the wearing of a range of Sony Walkmans in a variety of opaque colours. But I present to you Exhibit B. Here's another one I saw on Rage. Bombfunk MC's Freestyler, the little boy with the big hair not only listening to a Sony mini-disc Walkman, but controlling all those around him with a Sony backlit LCD stick remote with editing functions. And what's this? He encounters a foe who appears to be armed with the only weapon that can possibly overpower a Sony mini-disc Walkman, a Sony PlayStation. And what record label would the Bomb Funk MCs be signed to? Well, strike me down and tickle me pink, it's a Sony. And he is a third Sony artist, Macy Gray, thrusting around like the hoochie mama she is. In the clip we see her filming herself. And with what brand of camera? A Sony, of course. Clearly, Sony want their logo shoved in your face as many hours of the day as possible. But they only have so many artists signed up and only so many places they can subliminally position it. So now you can help them along with the Music Jamboree Sony product placement head visor. You'll need cardboard, scissors and a stapler. Then download the Sony logo from musicjamboree.com and print onto a transparency. Assemble the visor, attach the logo. And now you can carry on your day, safe in the knowledge that wherever you go and whatever you do, you'll never not have a Sony product placement dangling right before your eyes. Few rock and roll conspiracy theories have stood the test of time, like the Paul is dead controversy. In October 1969, a rumour began to circulate. Paul McCartney was dead. The Beatles singer and bass guitarist had been decapitated several years earlier in a car crash in November 1966. His record label, worried about Beatles album sales, had replaced him with a Scottish man called William Campbell, who had earlier won a Paul McCartney lookalike contest. Paul is Dead panic swept America and England. So much so that Paul McCartney felt obliged to do a Life magazine cover story, countering the claim. Or was that Paul McCartney on the cover? According to conspiracy theorists, the remaining Beatles left a plethora of clues in their song lyrics and on their album covers, confirming Paul's death. On the cover of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, there is a drum skin. Hold up a mirror to the drum skin and the word heart becomes he die. He die, with an arrow pointing up to McCartney. In the gatefold of Sgt. Pepper's, Paul wears a patch which appears to read OPD, British police jargon for officially pronounced dead. And on the back cover, Paul is the only Beatle facing away from the camera, with the words "without you" coming from his head. Then the conspiracy theorists continue their argument, pointing to the cover of Abbey Road. There is a white Volkswagen parked on the side of the road. Its number plate reads 28 if. As in, Paul McCartney would be 28 if he was still alive at the time of Abbey Road's release. And the LMW? That's an acronym for Linda McCartney Weeps, a reference to Paul McCartney's grieving widow. Also notice Paul McCartney is holding a cigarette in his right hand. But Paul McCartney was left-handed. Explain that one, skeptics. This cover of the rare Beatles album Oldies features a car driving toward Paul's head, a reference to the car crash and the subsequent decapitation. And on the drum skin, advance one letter in the alphabet for O and you have P. Advance one letter in the alphabet for L and you have M, as in Paul McCartney, followed by the word dies. Then conspiracy theorists come to the White Album. White is the traditional colour of mourning in many cultures. And play the White Album track, Revolution No. 9, backwards, and you'll hear this secret message. A photo inside features a set of ghostly hands reaching for McCartney. And in this photo, a shadow covers a small scar the lookalike received, perfecting his Paul look with plastic surgery. Another track on the album, Glass Onion, contains a further clue.
Well, here's another clue for you all. The walrus was Paul.
This is a reference to the cover of Magical Mystery Tour, where one of the Beatles, who we now know is McCartney, is dressed as a walrus, the only character on the cover who is black. And black is the traditional colour of mourning in many cultures. Then we come to yesterday and today. Turn it on its side, and Paul McCartney is in a coffin. And on Rubber Soul, it's as if the Beatles are looking down into a grave. Fairly compelling stuff. Which brings us to an explosive new revelation in the Dead Beatles saga. Tonight, for the first time on Music Jamboree, we present possible evidence that George Harrison is dead. Exhibit A. Look at the front cover of this magazine. This photo may seem innocuous at first, but take a closer look. Around the bottom of the photo, near all that writing, is a dark black shadow where his jugular vein would be. A shadow perhaps covering up a bullet hole? Also notice in photos of the real George Harrison, for example in this one where he's walking behind the fake Paul McCartney, George Harrison has a beard. Here, he has no beard. And viewed from above, it's as if Harrison is looking up at us from a hospital bed or a slab in a morgue. Coincidence? Well, take a look at this. Hold up this copy of the Herald Sun to a mirror. Any mirror will do. Now write down the letters you see. Said? Elta Eb? Sound like gobbledygook? Perhaps. But now hold up those letters to a mirror. The surviving Beatles giving another clue to us all? And what of this clue on the cover of the CD single reissue of George Harrison's My Sweet Lord? The photo in the middle of the cover is a flower. In some cultures, flowers are put on the end of gravestones when there is someone dead. Compelling evidence of George Harrison's gruesome death? Or a crazy conspiracy theory? You be the judge.
Did you know John Lennon and Ringo Starr are now the only surviving members of the Beatles?
Russia, a land of contradictions, where the soil is arid but the melodies are fertile, where the people are poor but the rhythms are rich. Dr. Jordania?
Hello, John. When you think about Russia and Russian musical sounds, maybe one of the first things that comes to your mind is the sound of balalaika. And yeah, definitely, balalaika is one of the most popular musical instruments in Russia. Oh, simply saying, it's a lute, it's a long neck fretted lute. And actually, although it's so popular, it doesn't have such a long history. It appeared only somewhere at the end of the 18th century. Actually, traditionally, there was only one type of balalaika, but then at the end of the 19th century, a Russian musician, Andreev, made, from one balalaika, made 6 different types of balalaikas. Definitely, he was following kind of European rules. When you have the violin and the alto and cello and the double bass, he made different sizes of balalaikas.
Thank you, Dr. Jordania.
My pleasure.
And now to demonstrate the Russian balalaika, we have Scandalous, with me, myself, and I.
I'm not crazy, I'm just fine. You might think I'm way out of line. Talking to myself and in my sleep. Baby, you've hurt me deeper than deep. I can tell you, no, I can't say. I just know I don't want to be treated this way. Baby, you were doing just fine. Then you started playing with my mind. I'm gonna blow everything you know about me, myself, and I'm gonna break, really gonna shake your world, turn it upside down. I'm gonna make sure that you're on the floor when the cops will come around. No, you won't survive me, myself, and I. What I'm about to do is still in my mind. Will I have the courage? Will I find the strength to carry on? Oh, to respect my needs, not to take you back every time you say forgive me. I'm gonna blow everything you know about me, myself, and I'm gonna break, really gonna shake your world, turn it upside down. I'm gonna make sure that you're on the floor when the cops will come around. No, you won't survive me, myself, and I'm gonna blow everything you know about me, myself, and I'm gonna break, really gonna shake your world, turn it upside down. I'm gonna make sure that you're on the floor when the cops will come around. No, you won't survive